2023. With that, I'll pass it over to our clerk to get things started.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Can we all please stand for the playing of the national anthem?
O Canada, our home, our native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
The land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are in the lands of the Anishinaabe Nation. This spot where we gather is the traditional lands of the Three Fires Confederacy, the Ottawa, Potawatomi, and Ojibwe. We also recognize that this land is now home to the Delaware Nation. This land was settled through the McKee Purchase Treaty of 1790, and we, as the beneficiaries of this treaty, must recognize our responsibilities, including our collective responsibilities to the land and water. Mr. Mayor, there is not a supplementary agenda this evening, and just rules for the council chambers. The municipality of Chatham-Kent supports open meetings that welcome debate and public policy issues in an atmosphere that's inclusive, integrity, civility, fairness, and respect for differing points of view. Anyone conducting themselves in a way that disturbs, disrupts, or impedes the orderly conduct of the meeting, interrupts or makes derogatory statements or hate speech, defamatory comments about councillors, staff, speakers, or fellow members of the public may result in a removal from the premise. The use of posters, signage, and literature is also prohibited. We'll move on to the disclosures of pecuniary interest, direct or indirect. I have not received any via email today. Do we have any disclosures of pecuniary interest today? See none. We'll move on to the recognitions, and I'll call upon Councillor Carmen McGregor to introduce our first artist feature.
Come with me. Good evening, everyone, and it is truly a pleasure to have the opportunity, along with my fellow Councillor Hall, to be able to introduce to you the Isaacs, Cedric, Sandra, and Leanne. And they are here tonight to bring us some learning. Cedric is actually an elder in the Bikeshnon territory, and his wife and his daughter have been teaching the connection to the land right across, I believe it would encompass the Lambton-Kent School District School Board, from kindergarten right through up into adulthood, through all the high schools and elsewhere. So it is truly a pleasure to have them here with us tonight to open up our ceremony. And the only other thing I want to mention is that Cedric is also an artist. And I had the pleasure of buying a piece of Cedric's artwork at least 15 plus years ago. So I couldn't help but bring it in tonight to share it with everybody because it is just a fabulous piece. So having said that, I'm going to turn it over to the three of you. And I understand you don't need the mic.
Okay, thanks for the introduction. We've been doing schools. We do 12 schools in this district. High schools, we do Catholic schools, we do public schools, we teach for business studies, art, music, we teach for residential schools. Truth reconciliation, we're involved in that. Anything that has to do with our people, we teach. We talk about the language. when I introduce myself, I usually introduce myself in my language, so I'll do that now. We say, bonjour, Nishna, Kinawe, Cedric guys, and Adishnikas, Chippewa, Ojibwe, Anishinaabe, Mindown, Shikan, Mendota. I just told you where I'm from, what my clan is, and what my association with my Chippewa, Ojibwe. My wife and my daughter, the Haudenosaunee, they're Mohawk, from Uncle Sesame. When we open up meetings, it's like when children are born, they're born with a song. So we sing a music. All of our lives we live by music. We live by music and songs. Music is the essence of our spirituality, and it's what you people too. It's in all of us. We go to school, we teach 7 grandfather teachings. And the 7 grandfather teachings all lie within those children. The thing is how to bring it out. How to bring it out in these children to learn respect of our people, to learn respect of ourselves. If we all learn the 7 grandfather teachings, we will be better people. We will be respectable people. You will respect our people, and we will respect you when 7 grandfather teachings come about. So we also teach us in school too. Teach about humility, love, courage. It teaches all those things. So that's what we do in schools, and we enjoy being in schools. We're in Chatham at least twice a week or 10 times a month. CKS and JMS, and we do all the school, and it's an enjoyable thing. I really enjoy teaching these children, especially when you walk through Walmart, the little kids wave at you. The parents look at you kind of strange. But no, we got a lot of the students in Chatham here. They wave at us, they talk to us, and they inspire us. And even the little kids, I don't know about the little kids that say, wave at us. I know that kind of parents give me that look. Who's that? But anyway, we're here to open up a song for you. We're going to do 2 songs. One is a song the Creator gave us. We call him Gishimanatu, Gijamado. That's our Creator. That's your Maker. That's our Maker. I'm the same as you. You're the same as me. We're no different. We follow different paths in our life. It takes us different journeys. Some of the journeys are good. Some of the journeys ain't so good. The songs help put us on one path, one mind. So that's what we do for you today. We'll do a song from Gishmanado to you. We want to do an opening song for you too. We're born on a song, live on a song, and we die by a song.
So our music is what we started going into schools teaching about, because our music is what helped us hang on to who we were as a nation before residential schools and before all this. So our music was very important to us. And like my dad said, we live by a song, we were born on a song. So when a baby comes into our world, we sing them a song of welcoming. And then when they leave this world, we sing them a traveling song, we sing them a farewell song, a journey song, to send them back home to spirit world. But today we're going to sing a song. The first one will be a Haudenosaunee song, and the second one will be an Anishinaabe song on the drums. So here we go.
Yonande, Yonande, hewa, yo hewa ho Yonande, hewa, yo hewa ho Yonande, hewa, yo hewa ho Yonande, ay ya ho he, we he Yonande. our heartbeat, Mother Earth. And the songs, every song we sing comes from the earth, comes from the water, comes from the trees, comes from the birds. These drums come from animals too. This is what we call round dance. It was, when they first done the song, it's a unity dance. They said all people danced around dance one time. All races of people held hands. There was no sickness, no hatred, no racism when we done this dance. That was the sacred circle of life. The sacred circle of life was broken. Now we got hatred, we got wars, we got starvation, we got people hating each other because they don't do a round dance. The song signifies that unity when this earth was good. And hopefully we'll all do that dance again one of these days where we can all be one people again. Forget about all that bad stuff, eh?
Thank you very much to the Isaacs for that beautiful two songs and words. Thank you very much. It was absolutely beautiful. Let's have one more round of applause for our guests.
The next recognition is of Linda Henderson for winning the Ontario Horticultural Association Trillium Silver Fir Award. Is Linda here this evening?
Well, I'd like to congratulate Linda for winning the Ontario Horticulture Association Trillium Silver Fir Award. The Silver Fir Award is given to an individual who demonstrates outstanding service to the Horticultural Society in Ontario. The criteria to receive the award are outstanding service in the areas of beautification, conservation, ecology, administration, etc., at the society, district, and/or provincial level, planning within a society and the community, and leadership in the promotion of horticultural societies, including their programs, membership, and related activities, or other worthy efforts. So I'd like to congratulate her for making Chatham-Kent a beautiful place, along with many other people in the community. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, we do not have any deputations this evening regarding any reports on the current agenda, and so we'll move into the consent agenda. The following reports have been pulled from the consent agenda. Item 16A, CK Welcome Week, September 8th to 17th, 2023. We have a presentation, and Councillor Story has requested it to be pulled. Next is a presentation of artwork from the CK Nigerian community. That has been pulled for a presentation. Next, we have item 18A, the naming of the Brian Fluker Memorial Trail, pulled by Councillor Anderson. Next is 20A, the Asset and Quality Management, the two-year contract position, pulled by Councillor McGrail. Item 20B, Wallaceburg and Chatham Minor Baseball Scoreboard Agreements, pulled by Councillor Doyle. 20C, on-street parking removal for bike lanes, Indian Creek Road West, Community of Chatham, pulled by Councillor Story and Councillor Doyle. And the last report is 20D, electric vehicle charging stations, pulled by Councillor Story and Councillor Carmen McGregor. Therefore, the remaining items to remain on the consent agenda are items 14A, B, C, D, items 15A all the way through to G, item 16C, 17A, 18B, C, D, 19A, B, C, 20E, F, G, 21A, and 22A all the way through to J.
Councillor Jubenville and Councillor Connor Allen, can I get you to move the consent agenda, please?
I so move the consent agenda.
Happy to second.
Any questions? Seeing none, we'll put it to vote.
All votes are in and motion passes 17-0.
Item 16, Chief Administrative Office.
Mr. Mayor, we have a CK Welcome Week, September 8th to 17th, 2023. We have a presentation by Victoria Bodner, the Manager of Community Attraction and Promotion.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. I'm Victoria Bodner, Manager of Community Attraction and Promotion, which is part of the Community Culture and Connections Department. Our team works to build community culture and connections by promoting Chatham-Kent to new residents and talent and supporting the increased welcomability and a strong sense of belonging in the community. A key part of our work, as many of you are familiar, is the Chatham-Kent Local Immigration Partnership, or the CK-LIP, which I'm proud to present to you today on behalf of our staff, Peter Solman, Project Coordinator, and Stephanie Vanderberg, who's with us this evening, who's the Project Assistant, who lead up many of the initiatives that I'll share with you. Just as some background for those who aren't familiar, CK-LIPs and all local immigration partnerships are funded by Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada. Contribution agreement is held by the Community Attraction and Promotion Division. So they've been a key partner since 2010 to help drive forward municipal initiatives around immigrant settlement and retention efforts. They're one of over 80 local immigration partnerships across Canada that work together collaboratively across communities to meet local needs towards immigrant settlement. And they've been really instrumental in the population growth that we've experienced locally within Chatham-Kent the last number of years. Their strategy and the work that they do currently is refined under a theory of change strategic plan. So all the work that they do, including Chatham-Kent Welcome Week, helps to drive forward towards this mission statement that by 2025, more newcomer immigrants in Chatham-Kent will feel valued and welcomed, and that they are contributing and thriving members of Chatham-Kent within 5 years of their arrival. So as you can tell, we're partway through this strategy now, and look forward to bring some updates to you in the future about how that strategy has been undergoing in the community. Up on the screen, you'll see a number of logos, including local partners and regional partners of the CK-LIP. So to date, there's 39 partners in Chatham-Kent that meet at this table to drive forward initiatives under the theory of change and the Chatham-Kent Welcome Week. And in addition to these community partners that range across sectors, including employment, settlement, education, healthcare, and otherwise, we have also initiated a new group called the Immigrant Advisory Group a couple of years ago. So this brings together specifically immigrants themselves to help drive the strategy of CK-LIP and to contribute very integrally to the work of community attraction and promotion. We're on our second term, and actually a couple of members are with us today, incidentally for the following presentation. But we now have 38 members representing 22 communities. They meet 4 times a year, and really we open the invitation to council to come in to join us. Mayor Caniff was kind enough to join at the last meeting, and really community partners too joined to say what we're working on is presented, and to get some direct feedback from immigrants about how that will help their settlement. So a big thank you to all of those members who come forward to help us drive our work. And the Immigrant Advisory Group is certainly integral to the Welcome Week initiatives, which I am happy to share with you now. As many of you know, Welcome Week started last Friday, so thank you to those council members who were present with the flag raising and the Beyond Building Community Connections event that happened here in the Civic Center and in front of Civic Center down on King Street as part of a community showcase. That kicked off what will be a week-long celebrations to help highlight how people can welcome their neighbors, welcome new immigrants in Chatham-Kent, how organizations are doing so throughout the year, and how immigrants throughout the year and ongoing are contributing to our community to make it the vibrant place that it is. So a couple of events that have already been completed. We had a Lambton-Kent District School Board International Student Welcome event on Saturday, which is also an annual event. They welcomed students from over 19 countries this year that will be joining Chatham-Kent School Board and in classrooms across Chatham-Kent. The Corn Together event was a great opportunity for us to showcase welcomeability as well on Sunday, which was coupled really beautifully with the CK Asian Cultural Community Picnic. Today we had a presentation from Will Employ and the Chatham-Kent Health Alliance about specifically attracting new immigrant employees to your workforces. So this is part of the work that CAP does ongoing as well. Community attraction and promotion is building capacity with employers. We know immigrant attraction is integral to talent attraction that is so desperately needed in the community. So that was one piece of the week, and it commonly is as well. And then joining me after my presentation is the CK Nigerian Community Artwork presentation to council this evening. So if you've missed any of those, we do have a whole lineup for the rest of the week, which we invite you all to join us for. Tomorrow we have so you want to start a nonprofit event, or maybe you already have, to talk about compliance. And this one I really want to kind of highlight specifically. It came out from a request of the Immigrant Advisory Group and of our cultural community associations. So for those who aren't aware, we have over 20 ethnocultural community associations in Chatham-Kent, ranging from all sizes. Some of them are kind of ad hoc groups that come together. They're just family and friends who meet. They maybe host something for themselves. Some of them are very well established and host larger community events like the Portuguese Club. They have a bricks and mortar setup. So some, like the CK Nigerian Association, incidentally, have recently become incorporated. Some have not been, but are eager to do so. So the request was made, how do we even become incorporated? What does it look like to be a nonprofit? How do we get more funding to be more stable and grow? So there's a lot of appetite across the community to help showcase this cultural diversity and vibrancy we have locally. And it's the role of the LIP and of community attraction and promotion to help people move along. So tomorrow, we're very excited to bring that forward. And then coupled with some showcases of settlement agencies. So on Thursday, you'll see Adult Language and Learning has an open house, and Collage Boreal has a conference where they're showcasing some of the work that they've done in Chatham-Kent to help build and retain immigrant attraction locally. Followed by Peace by Chocolate film screening in Chatham Capitol Theatre. So encouraging you all to go there. And then on Friday, our team will be back presenting to the community at Camp Kent, so a fireside chat about why and how it's important to welcome people in your community and how integral this is to our community success. So if you are free at 11 on Friday, please join us there. And then it'll be wrapped up with a welcoming story time and a book giveaway with the Kiwanis Club and the Chatham-Kent Library on Saturday. So that is this year's Welcome Week. We're just excited to take time from your meeting today to really put a spotlight on how important the work is in general, but really it's a celebration. It's an exciting piece for the week. This week is an exciting time throughout the year, and we hope you are able to join us. I would like to take 2 more minutes to show you a really great video that showcases, in better words than myself, why immigrant newcomers are finding Chatham-Kent a welcoming place for them to live.
Welcome to Chatham-Kent.
मरहबन बिकुम fi Chatham-Kent.
Chatham-Kent में आपका स्वागत है.
Chatham-Kent'e hoş geldiniz.
Bienvenue à Chatham-Kent.
Chatham unங்களை வரவேற்கிறது.
Selamat datang ke Chatham-Kent.
欢迎来到 Chatham-Kent.
Bienvenidos a Chatham-Kent.
Chatham-Kent में आपका स्वागत है.
I feel welcome in Chatham-Kent because of its growing cultural diversity.
I feel welcomed in Chatham-Kent because I feel valued. Because it's a safe community.
Because of the endless opportunities.
Because of the neighborhood.
Because of my friends.
Because it's peaceful and quiet.
Because people are friendly.
Because it's pivoting into technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship.
Because of my culture community.
Because of the community and organization that support me.
On behalf of the entire community, welcome to Chatham-Kent.
Welcome to Chatham-Kent.
So if you aren't already, please follow us on social media. You'll see all the events that are happening this week, as well as storytelling that happens throughout the year to showcase new people coming to the community and ways to get connected and involved. Thank you very much. I'd be happy to take any questions you have, and then I'll introduce our next presentation.
Councillor Story.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks, Victoria, for that presentation, and thanks to Peter and Stephanie and Audrey for all your work, along with you, Victoria, for the work you're doing this week and all year. I really enjoyed being there on Friday along with Councillor Sakachi, and it's great to make some new friends and see some familiar faces and welcome more people to our community. So I have a couple quick questions. How are we measuring success with this initiative? I like the theory of change approach. I think that's a really unique and appropriate one for this type of work. How are we going to look back, let's say in 2025 when this round is done, that we're successful in what we were looking to achieve?
Thank you. That's a great question. And I also really love the theory of change model. Having something to benchmark what we're doing and knowing when to pivot and how to pivot is really important to our work. So there's a couple key ways and really different data sets that we pull together. The biggest one, as you know, when we presented on earlier this year, is the census. When we see growth happening, we know that the work is making an impact. And when we see retention is happening, we know that the work is having an impact. But obviously that comes out every 4 years. So there's, some nuanced pieces that we take into account before then. A big part is community feedback and is testimonials, it's human stories. So the people who come to be partners with us, the 39 organizations at CK-LIP, are giving us constant feedback. We do a annual survey with them to say how are things going. So we have data and anonymous, authentic feedback that way. The immigrant advisory group, similarly, they're giving feedback all the time, but formally 4 times a year. And then we have started doing, as you're aware, the CK immigrant survey. So we did the first one in 2020. We're doing the second one this year, and we're looking to do it on a rotational basis as well. And that data specifically will help to inform the theory of change. So we ask questions that align with those 3 strategies, but we're also pulling different KPIs from sources as much as we can get. So for example, one of the strategies that connects to Council's direction that we've received to date is about growing talent attraction and getting immigrant people employed, but bringing talent to Chatham-Kent. So that aligns with the theory of change model as well. And we dig in to look to say, where do we find unemployment stats specific to immigrants? How are they comparing to population that are non-immigrants, and doing research? So a big part of what community attraction and promotion does, frankly, is look at research through the Workforce Planning Board, as you know, and through the CK-LIP, and the work of our team broadly, to say, what does the community look like? Where do we need to pivot to meet Council's directions?
Great, that's good to know. For the folks watching at home and later on, how can the community get involved in supporting the work that you're doing to make us a more welcoming community for everyone?
Thank you. I think that's a good point to bring back home, is that the work we do is to try to bolster systematically a welcoming community and really enhance work that's going on from community partners and from community people, like stakeholders who just live here, residents who live here. So an easy part is something that we hear all the time is happening, is just to continue, is that people say Chatham-Kent is a really welcoming community. That's why they choose to be here. It's a family-friendly community. It's a friendly community in and of itself. So remembering, when you have a neighbor, you have a new coworker who comes into the office to take that extra step, or someone new to your club, when people are putting out the hand and saying, join me at this, or join me at that, or did you know about this, that, and the other thing? How are things going? That goes a really long way. And if you're not sure where to turn, livingck.ca, we have a ton of resources online digitally that you can share. If you get really panicked, you can refer someone to our team, and we're happy to take the lead there. But really, it's extending the hand of welcome and showing up to things makes a big deal, makes a big difference.
Okay, that's great. And last but not least, how can we on council support the welcoming community message throughout the year from our perspective around the horseshoe?
And I think similarly, so when council comes to events and they're making that, when they're bringing greetings to events, when you're integrating the decisions within the decisions you make around the horseshoe about how is this going to benefit our community and make it vibrant and make people feel welcome and safe here, then that makes a big difference. But we host Welcome Week every year. It's generally the same time frame, the second week of September, but of course we're doing work throughout the year and our community partners are doing work throughout the year. So every time you come to an event and you're sharing the message, I think that goes a long way and people really hear that and respond to it.
That's very helpful. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Sakachi?
Thank you, Your Worship. Just obviously, first and foremost, I just wanted to say how fabulous of a job I think you folks are all doing. I think it's a really important role that you're playing. But I think that one thing that I just wanted to touch on very briefly is that one thing that you might not quantify in your data is the fact that when we're going down into community development, how much more different diversity we're seeing in the investments of Chatham-Kent. Driving around, seeing the different restaurants that are popping up, and just the different diversity in general that this is kind of producing. And when we can look at the inclusion aspects, but I think it's also to recognize that people are seeing that our community is a place that welcomes people and a place to develop and grow and invest in the community, which we're going to see later on throughout the meeting. So great job. I think that this initiative is just not about your reports and your data, but it's also just it just goes tenfold of how much how beneficial it is to our community. So great job and keep up the good work.
So following this, we have a presentation of artwork by the Chatham-Kent Nigerian community. And Victoria, I'll hand it back to you for the introduction.
Thank you. So very easily and very quickly, I'd like to turn it over to Stella, who's representing the CK Nigerian community. She has a few members of her executive here with her today. So come on up, Stella.
Good evening, Mayor Darren Caniff, councillors, the CAO, Michael Dubin, whom I met on Friday for the first time, and everyone present here, good evening. My name is Stella Jonah, and I'm the president of the CK Nigerian community. With me today are some of our members, the Vice President Buki Oludotun, our director, Mr. Biodun Adefarasi. Mr. Buki Oludotun is also a director. We have our secretary here, Mr. Sheyi Sadiq. We have our youth representative, Patrick. We have Mr. Tochi and my husband, Mr. Lang Jonah. And we also we have our newest member, maybe one of the newest persons in Chatham today, Mr. Ali Oladimeji. He's about a week plus old in Chatham. So. On behalf of the CK Nigerian community, we are honored to present an artwork, a gift to the municipality of Chatham-Kent. And this is in appreciation of the dedication to making and keeping Chatham-Kent a welcoming community. First of all, we have an apology to render. This gift, the artwork, was meant to be presented at to the mayor at the July 1st, 2003 event. We had a big Canada Day celebration, and we wanted really to impress the community. But flight cancellations, rough weather, somehow the artwork did not arrive because flights were canceled. But it's here now, all the way from Nigeria. It's an original, specially made for Chatham-Kent. And we truly, truly appreciate this second opportunity to present this artwork. And what many people may not know is Nigeria itself as a country has over 250 ethnic groups. So some of us Nigerians have chosen Canada and specifically Chatham-Kent as our home because we embrace and we love to celebrate multiculturalism. Our association, the CK Nigerian community, is young and is thriving and growing exponentially. The opportunity Chatham-Kent presents to help newcomers and immigrants settle and integrate is really, really, really commendable. The size of Chatham-Kent provides that unique advantage that fosters a networking atmosphere for all of us. We can easily access and relate with community members and service producers and service providers. So it's a blessing that it's coveted in some of the big and urban Canadian regions. I don't think you will find the mayor going for a community event when we just give short notice for invitation. So we really, really appreciate that networking opportunity. And without a doubt, I want to conclude by saying there is strength and purpose in positive collaboration. There's a popular proverb that says it is impossible to clap with one hand. We need one another. Our goal, therefore, is to continue to be part of this growing, thriving, and diverse Chatham-Kent community. So thank you very much once again for welcoming us. Thank you. And with that, we would like to invite the mayor to receive the gift.
been a very cultural evening so far, a great agenda. We'll go on to item 18, corporate services.
18A, naming of the Brian Fluker Memorial Trail.
Councillor Anderson and Councillor Sakachi, can you put you on the floor, please?
Yes, thank you.
Happy to second it, Mayor Caniff.
Councillor Anderson, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I only pulled this item to pay homage to a great past friend of mine. While I didn't have the honor of sitting as a fellow councillor of Ward 1 around the horseshoe with him, I definitely had the honor of being one of his constituents. And through that, became very good friends with him and his wife, Nellie. You know, he was a wonderful man. He showed up for everything and was unapologetic in his decision-making tactics, whether it was popular or unpopular amongst his constituents. And I respected him so much for that. He also kind of took me under his wing and included me in things, whether it was an invitation to a provincial update with MPP Dave Van Kesteren or the weekly old boys coffee sessions at Bowman's Feeds. So I was honored to be a good friend of his, and he definitely inspired me to not only look into a bigger role within politics, but also inspired me to do it with honesty and a candor that only he could possess. So I'm very thankful that this has come forward. I think it's a wonderful idea. He really loved Tilbury Memorial Park, and I think that it's perfect that it does go there. He was an avid walker and very active within the active transportation community. And I think that this is wonderful, and I think that there's no better way for us to honor him than to name a trail after him. So thank you.
Very well said, Councillor Anderson. With that, let's put it to vote.
All votes are in and motion passes 17-0.
Item 20, infrastructure and engineering services.
20A, asset and quality management, 2-year contract position.
Councillor McGrail and Councillor Thompson, can I get you to put this on the floor, please?
Yes, I'll put that motion forward.
And I'll second it.
Councillor McGrail, the floor is yours.
Sure, thank you, Mayor Caniff. Just a quick question. As I read this, we're switching from a consultant role to an in-house role, so there's some savings there. And I'm just wondering what we're going to do with those savings, or where we're going to put them.
Thank you, through the mayor. The original consultant assignment was funded from both the corporate asset management plan as well as the PUC asset management plan at a 70-30 mix. And the remaining funds would be, remaining committed funds would be returned to those life cycle reserves.
Great, that's my question.
Seeing no other questions, we'll put it to vote.
All votes are in, motion passes 17-0. 20B, Wallaceburg and Chatham minor baseball scoreboard agreements.
Councillor Doyle and Councillor McGrail, can I get you to move this, please?
Happy to move that, Mr. Mayor.
And I will second.
Councillor Doyle, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple questions here. Thank you very much for putting this together. I think this will help going forward. So I guess my first question, it just says that the agreement is currently continuing to a year-to-year basis, but can be terminated effective December 2024 with no notice to CMBA, or CMBA. Just to clarify, the agreement will be getting changed for next season. So next season, like the 2024 baseball season, the other groups will have access to the scoreboard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Rob Pollock, Director, Parks, Fleet, and Facilities. So right now, the agreement is on a year-to-year basis, and that is a correction on the report. We can redo the agreement starting December 31st, 2023, and it's on a year-to-year basis every year.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Now, I was asked, there is a, I guess, digital message board area on the scoreboard. Will the people who are allowed to use the scoreboard also be allowed to use that message area while they're playing their games?
So currently with the agreement, Chatham Minor Baseball has the rights for that one. But in the future agreements, we would be looking that other user groups would be able to use those, and that would run through the municipality. So we'd be looking at that, but not with the current agreement.
Okay, perfect. And I was asked if it would be possible, so with the Chatham-Kent Cubs, they specifically had asked, because they do play in the Fergie Jenkins League at that diamond, would they be allowed to put up their logo, ideally somewhere on the sign, or if not on the sign, somewhere else in the ball diamond?
So with the current agreement, it wouldn't be allowed to go on the scoreboard, but like we do with other user groups at other facilities, such as arenas with figure skating groups and hockey groups, we would look to find them a spot within the facility that made sense that they could promote their organization.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you very much, Rob. Appreciate it.
Seeing no other questions, we'll put it to vote.
All votes are in. Motion passes 17-0. 20C, on-street parking removal of bike lanes, Indian Creek Road West, Community of Chatham.
Councillor Story and Councillor Doyle, can I get you to move this, please?
Happy to move this, Mr. Mayor.
Happy to second that.
Councillor Story, the floor is yours, then over to Councillor Doyle.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have just a couple of questions about the process for this. First of all, how was the consultation done with residents, and how could they share their feedback with the municipality on this project or this proposal?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to ask our new Director of Engineering to come up and answer these questions as they're in her area, Marissa Mascaro.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor. So a letter was mailed out to all households in the affected area, and our contact information was included, so residents were requested to reach out to us either by phone or email with any questions, comments, or concerns that they had.
Thank you, and welcome to council. It's great to see you. In the report, it says that the Trails Master Plan did recommend the bike lanes on this stretch. Now, is this the plan that was approved in 2009? And if it is, has there been any updating of this plan or any public input on this plan since then?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, that is referring to the 2009 Trails Master Plan. So we do receive occasionally inputs from residents to review for additional considerations for bike infrastructure, and we do conduct additional public consultation when we're implementing, such as with this, or when we're doing capital construction projects. When we're planning those out, we would do additional consultation at that time.
Great. In terms of accessibility, are we going to make sure that all the signage meets our accessibility standards in terms of the font and the colors used and everything that meets our accessibility guidelines for the municipality?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, happy to confirm that all signage will comply. Signage will be required to meet the Ontario Traffic Manual requirements, which is provincial requirements for accessibility, legibility, and all those pieces.
Great. And when are we looking to have this ready to go?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, we're planning the installations later this fall, so anticipating for October.
Okay. In terms of everything else that's happening on that stretch, are there bus stops along there that might be part of the bike lane or in the bike lane? Any section of that?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, there are two bus stops. I believe they're both on the north side of the road that are used along that stretch.
And is there markings, if there's a bus parked in the bike lane, I mean, they're not parked there very long, obviously. What's the rule on that? Would a cyclist have to wait and yield to the bus, or vice versa?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, so cyclists would have to yield for a vehicle that's pulled over. A bus would be stopped, but not necessarily parked, and that would be for a short period, and then it would merge back into the lane.
Okay, great. In terms of the rest of this area, this is obviously this is a growing neighborhood. There's a lot of development happening in this area. So what are the future plans for the bike lanes in this section? Are they going to link up with any other bike lanes or trails in that part of town?
Yes, that's a great question. I believe we had a map included as an appendix that showed future connections. So it is proposed for us to extend the bike lanes further to the west to Howard, further to east, I think through share the road facilities where the road narrows a bit, as well as intersecting bikeways on the north-south streets along that corridor.
Great, that's a great idea. And last but not least, on a higher level piece, why are bike lanes important in a community?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So that's a great question. So bicycle infrastructure is a really important component of road safety. So it's important for us to have the right bicycling infrastructure in place for users who are relying on safe and equitable access to cycling for their chosen mode of transportation, as well as those who may be considering it for cost, environmental, or health reasons. It's really important for us to have that right cycling infrastructure in place to support those choices.
Wonderful, thanks for all that information, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Doyle, followed by Councillor Bondi.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank administration for putting this together. I used to do a lot of biking for fundraising stuff and training back for 5 or 6 years, and Indian Creek was one of the spots that I took quite a bit. So at the time, the bike lanes were there, but the paint lines were coming off. And at the time, there was only 1 or 2 cars that would constantly park there. Since I've been on council, I don't live in the same area, so I'm not biking the same path, but I've had people reach out to me for that, and when I drive up and down the road, it's not 1 or 2 anymore, there's like 6, 7, 8. So in my opinion, that's just an accident waiting to happen. So I want to say thank you very much for doing this, and a lot of people are going to be happy, so thank you, especially around schools.
Councillor Bondi.
Thank you, Mayor Kempf. 2 questions. When deciding to convert the parking spots to bike lanes, is there a way that you can collect any data as to like bicycle usage? Like, do you know that that's like a heavily traveled? I know that you can do it with a little strip for cars, but I didn't know if it's possible with like bicycles.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, so we can do counts, and we do counts of all of our road users, so both cyclists and motor vehicles. When we're also considering bike infrastructure, we consider desire lines. So sometimes we may not see a bunch of cyclists on that area because it may be uncomfortable for them until we provide that dedicated space. So some of it is considering desire lines and sort of facility selection, so the right bicycle infrastructure that we're considering in the right spots to provide that use.
So it's more of build it and they will come kind of thing.
It's both, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Secondly, I see that the financial implication is $12,000 for the no parking zone signs. So they must be awfully shiny signs for $12,000. But is there an additional cost to like making bike sign? Like, is there going to be bike lane signs and paint and all that sort of stuff? Like, you know, how they paint off the bike lane or whatever.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor. So yes, that would be part of our signage cost estimates.
Oh, and that's in this $12,000?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, thank you.
Before we put this to vote, I'm going to put Mr. Soldo on the spot, and maybe what I should have done prior to when Marissa came up there, just maybe you could give her a little introduction so we all just give a little better understanding of.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So Marissa Mascaro comes to us, and in the last month or so, she is our new Director of Engineering, and she has a wide expertise in all areas of engineering. She is from southwestern Ontario, so she's kind of coming back home, and she's been working previously at the City of Kingston. So we're glad to have her on board and have her lead our engineering group.
Well, welcome and welcome back. We're happy to have you. Yeah. With that, I see no other questions. We'll put it to vote.
All votes are in. Motion passes 16-0.
Marissa, you passed your first presentation with flying colors.
20D, electric vehicle charging stations.
Okay, we have, this is an information report. We have 3 councillors looking to discuss this. Councillor Story, Councillor C. McGregor, and Councillor Doyle. We'll start with Councillor Story.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Edward, and your team for this report. I think it's a timely one since EVs seem to be in the news every other day right now, and for some time to come, especially in this region. Couple of questions. I've had some feedback from a few EV users in the community that the level 2 stations, which are the ones we have at our municipal sites, in terms of the output and length of time it takes to charge, is not always the most conducive, since it does take several hours to charge from a level 2 station. So I'm wondering, are we thinking about either in the short or long term the level 3 stations, which are much speedier in their charging?
Thank you through the mayor to the councillor. In terms of the current chargers that we have, they are level 2. And council may recall that this was part of a funding application that our contractor put together, and it wasn't just for Chatham-Kent, it was for a number of municipalities in southwestern Ontario to create a bit of a network for level 2 charging in those areas. Level 2 chargers are more what I call convenient chargers, where you have time to either you're working at home or you're at work and you can plug in your charger. It takes a little bit longer. The level 3 chargers are faster, but they're also a lot more expensive. There is a number of locations within Chatham-Kent, 16 locations that have 32 chargers that are level 3 chargers already, so there's quite a bit of network out there. They're primarily at commercial outlets and some of the auto dealers in the area itself. So there is some level 3 chargers out there. But in terms of us looking forward, as we develop our climate change plan and look at what we're doing with our municipal fleet, you know, we do have a number of pickup trucks and items that could potentially be converted over to electrical fleet. And so that'll be something we'll consider when we're putting together that plan and looking at the benefits.
Thanks. So we are looking at considering moving some of our fleet in the future to EV and what that would look like.
Yeah, we would have to, through the mayor, we'd have to do the business case on that, end of life of vehicles, all the other costs. There's not only the fleet that has to be looked at, but the infrastructure to maintain it as well, because it's a different type of vehicle. So, you know, getting our mechanics up to speed on electric vehicles and the infrastructure for charging. It is quite a bit more expensive to put in level 3 chargers than level 2.
Thank you. And last but not least, I'm just wanting to make my request about accessibility, and that I know there was mention of making the parking spots here a little more visible, because sometimes there were folks who weren't charging in the spot. But any infrastructure related to these charging stations in terms of font and colors used are accessible as possible for folks to be aware of what they're being used for.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the Director of Engineering just indicated, we do follow the Ontario Traffic Manual. It has very specific signage, so it meets all of those requirements from accessibility perspective to ensure that we're in compliance from standards.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Councillor C. McGregor, followed by Councillor Doyle.
Thank you, and through the mayor. I didn't have any direct questions, but I just thought I would share some of the comments. Again, there's a couple of EV users in the town of Wallaceburg, so having read the report, thank you very much for the detail that come. But I thought as you're moving forward and planning these projects, that it probably wouldn't hurt to have these comments that have come to me. Number one was the chargers, the number 2 chargers that have gone in front of the municipal service centers. Most people using those spots are in and out of the building probably within 5 to 10 minutes at most. And they're the lower chargers that take a lot longer time. So the question to me was, is that really the appropriate spot for them? And are these able to be moved to a different location if we were looking for another one? So I'll just leave that you can take these back. I don't expect answers. You can answer if you want when you're done, but I'm going to go through what was said to me. That was one comment. The Wallaceburg charger in particular is a longer charger of 5 hours. Even if you decided to pull your car up there and park and charge, we have a 2-hour limit, or you get fined for parking. So that was a concern, and why the charger would not maybe possibly be put in the employee parking lot at the back, where maybe an employee might be able to use it during the work hours for a length of time. So that was some of them. The other comments, which, you know, you're going to take the good with the bad, but taxpayers wanted to know why we were providing free when they had to go to the gas pumps and pay. And that was the relocation. Oh, and they wanted, what happens if we don't find a sponsor? Is this then totally back on the taxpayers? Dollar was one. And then just the last, two last comments here. When I was at AMO, I talked to a vendor there who was talking to me about this technology and how it's going to relatively quickly become outdated because there's some new work in place for much better batteries. So are we considering that, and will they kind of match up with the units that we have? Like maybe it's just a, I don't know, maybe it's a socket changer or something. I don't know, and I won't pretend to know. And the only last comment that I had was about the mention about doing the CK Talk, Let's Talk information posted. They were just wondering if there would be opportunity for actual written feedback in there as opposed to yes and no answers. So I'll just leave that with you. I don't need answers from you. I know a report will come back later on, and hopefully some of that will be taken for consideration. Thanks.
Councillor Doyle?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I didn't really have much more to say after that. The only concerns I had from people were when people were going to have to start paying for these, and they weren't getting the electricity for free to charge the car. Sounds like that'll be sometime around January, so that's good by me. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to move all the way through now to notice of motion. Councillor Pinsino and Councillor Sakachi. Councillor Pinsino?
Thank you, Worship. I, Councillor Steve Pinsino, will bring forward the following motion at the September 25th, 2023 Council meeting for discussion and voting. Whereas the municipality implemented a temporary clear-cutting bylaw on April 26, 2021 with no end date, and whereas the Natural Heritage Study worked from July 3rd, 2014 until April 26, 2021, be it resolved that Council remove the bylaw number 72-2021, the temporary clear-cutting bylaw, and reinstate the Natural Heritage Strategy.
Councillor Sakachi?
I, Councillor Anthony Sakachi, here provide notice that I'll be bringing the following motion to the September 25th meeting for voting and discussion. Whereas a haul route has been established for hauling waste for the Ridge landfill, and whereas there has been an increase in large hauling trucks using alternate truck routes, including through town, which causes safety and traffic issues, therefore be it resolved, administration be directed to review the existing bylaw which establishes a haul route and to consider enhancements to better ensure the trucks follow the approved haul route, and that any enhancements be brought to council for consideration and voting.
Councillor Crew, the closed session reports, and can I get Councillor Wright to second that, please?
Council directed administration on personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees with regard to the citizen appointment to the Committee of Adjustment, Section 239-2B, the Municipal Act 2001. Council also directed administration on personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees with regard to Chatham-Kent Age-Friendly Advisory Committee appointment, Section 239-2B, the Municipal Act 2001. Council also proposed deposition of land by the municipality with regard to offer to purchase part of the property identification number 00790081 Sinclair Road, Community of Tilbury, Section 239-2C of the Municipal Act 2001. I so move.
I'll second that. Thank you.
We'll put it to vote.
All votes are in. Motion passes 17-0.
Approval of communication items, Councillor C. McGregor and Councillor Anderson, can you move those, please?
Happy to.
Happy to second.
With that, we put it to vote. Show of hands. Anyone opposed? Test. Approved. Non-agenda business. Okay. Councillor Crew, followed by Councillor Pinsonneau.
Thank you, Mayor Caniff. First of all, I just want to give a big shout out to our Public Works staff, everyone who helped with the cleanup after the storm last week. It's much appreciated by the community, and hauling away extra brush from the road was probably appreciated a lot more than you probably realize, with a lot of citizens facing some cleanup that they're not normally used to. So I just want to thank you. I sent an email out, and this question's for Chief Case, about communication and specifically around weather situations causing community-based emergency type situations. So if you could comment on that, Chief, I'd appreciate it.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the question, Councillor. I think one of the things that was brought up in your email was the definition of an emergency. And unfortunately, as everybody in this room knows, we are no stranger to emergencies. In fact, we're probably the most prolific emergency declarer of the past 3 years, which is not something we're particularly proud of, but it's where we found ourselves. To declare an emergency, we have to be sure that there is a threat to life or property of a major proportion. So if I use the snow emergency of Christmas as an example, we go through the day, and at that time the CAO is calling meetings where the municipality is operating to try and deal with the situation. And then when it gets to the point that we can't move ambulances or big sections of the municipal workload is shutting down, then we'll be calling the mayor and asking for an emergency. That allows us to do a lot more things. So we don't call an emergency lightly. That's the first thing to say. In terms of the storm that we did say, at that time we did send out some information, and to be honest, through the summer months, it feels like between ourselves, the province, the Lower Thames Conservation and the St Clair Conservation, we're sending out storm warnings 2 or 3 times a week. Weather is coming, and most people are very reactive to that. In fact, a lot of people do follow the 72-hour emergency kit guidance that we give. The thing that we found challenging a few weeks ago, and our colleagues in the media will know this better than anyone, is the impact of the Bill C-18 and the dispute between Meta, Facebook, and the federal government. Normally we would send out a press release, and from my experience, the biggest audience for that information is when our colleagues in the media put it on social media. And in Chatham-Kent, Facebook seems to be the way to go. That doesn't happen at the moment, and we are beginning to see that as an issue. On the night in question, the CAO and EMT have been sending emails out throughout the day. We'd geared up with more crews. I know that Integris knew there was a storm coming and geared up with more crews. And about midnight, Chris McLeod came into CKSY, and I went live on the radio for the first time in a long time that CKSY has been live, to try and get that information across. And from that, emails continued to go out, social media posts continued to go out, and then throughout the day, we then tried to contact the community through our new communications manager, Eric Lebedy, over there, to try and talk about the cleanup. What we do realise is that we are reviewing our emergency management practices, and these are all available on the Chatham-Kent website. And communication will be a key aspect of this. So you may see some things come into budget to try and talk about this, but overall, we are facing a challenge, and we appreciate all the efforts of council when you're sharing your emails and sharing your information. A little long-winded, but I hope it answers your question, ma'am.
It's very helpful. I think the other part of that email I asked you about the emergency plan. I know we have one. Now things change, people change, Meta changed. which changed our communication. So do we update our communication strategy, and do you look at maybe different ways to engage other people, other media sources in our community that would have that immediate impact?
Thank you for the question. Through you, Mr. Mayor. The plan is also on the website. The plan as it stands is nearly 10 years old, but it is the operating procedure for all emergencies. As the emergency comes between EMT, the CAO and our partners, the community control group will come together and begin to formulate responses. And we do that based upon the information we have and what's coming in. But it is correct that now that we've completed a new community risk assessment, which again is on the website, that indicates that weather events are going to be more and more frequent. This is the new life that we live. So naturally, our response to emergencies is going to change, and that plan will be reviewed over the next year as we move into the new community risk assessment.
Thank you, Chief. I think that might answer Councillor Jubenville's question about the emergency plan as well. Thank you very much.
Councillor Pinsino, followed by Councillor Scotchy.
Thank you, Worship. Just like to invite everybody out to Thamesville this coming Saturday for the Thamesville Crossroads Car Show. It's an annual event, so all the old car buffs, get your wheels going and come on out. Thank you.
Councillor Scotchy, followed by Councillor B. McGregor.
Thank you, Mayor Caniff. I just wanted to bring attention, obviously, we had a flag raising this last week in regards to September being Childhood Cancer Month, Awareness Month. The Betterleys have provided us with a pin on all our desks to recognize those that have fought the courageous battle of childhood cancer, and I just wanted to take an opportunity to recognize that very briefly. And also, I just wanted to just make a brief statement in non-agenda business in regards to the sheer amount of investments that we've seen on this this agenda today. And I think it's great to see all the hard work from staff and past council with the CIP that was developed, and you know, just the amount and sheer volume of business and investments it's bringing into our community. And I think that it's been a great initiative, and look forward to more investments coming our way.
Councillor B. McGregor, followed by Councillor Story.
Thank you, Mayor Caniff. I had a question for infrastructure and engineering. We had some residents reach out in the past couple of weeks with concerns over crossing Gregory Drive adjacent to Gregory Drive Public School, and the status of a crosswalk there or some type of traffic control. And I know that we sort of emailed back and forth, and I just wanted to know if there was an update on when recommendations for things like traffic calming and pedestrian crossovers for problematic areas might be coming back to council.
Thank you through the mayor to the councillor. You'll see a number of reports in October, one related to the Road Safety Action Plan, one related to traffic calming guidelines, and one related specifically to pedestrian crossing. So I look forward to bringing them to the council for your consideration, but they should be either in the first or second meeting of October.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Story, followed by Councillor Finn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A couple quick items. I wanted to congratulate everyone involved with the Special Olympics Mike Curry Memorial Torch Run this weekend. It sounds like they had a fantastic event, and they broke their record for a record amount of funds raised. So kudos to everyone involved with that. Also wanted to thank the folks with Tilbury Rotary Club, the South Kent Wind Foundation, the Chatham-Kent Community Foundation, and Rob Vetcha and his team for the new accessible swing that was installed in Tilbury. Just last week, Councillor Anderson and the mayor and I were there, and it was a great event to see it being used. And it's not finished yet. There is more work to be done, but it is being used by the community, and we're really excited to have that. And I hope to see a few more around Chatham-Kent. And also, just to let everyone know, there are two great art exhibitions on right now in Chatham-Kent. One at Art Space until November 4th called Pollinators. It's pottery, painting, and prints. Say that 3 times fast. 5 local artists who are very talented, and more local artists at the Thames Art Gallery, at the Juried Show, which is one of the best shows every other year at the Art Gallery, and that's on till October 4th. Thank you very much.
Councillor Finn, followed by Councillor Doyle.
Just in addition to Councillor Sakachi about September being Childhood Cancer Month, just a shout out to 2 young gentlemen that I've known for quite a while who are presently fighting to Ethan and to Mateo, and I know you had the chance to meet Mateo, who's presently down in Toronto, that not all heroes wear capes or wear uniforms, so good luck to both of those young men.
Councillor Doyle.
Thank you. I just want to say that the North Buxton community had their 100-year homecoming a couple weekends ago, over from Friday to Monday. I happened to be there all 4 days for different reasons, but it was a great turnout. I bet you they're already looking forward to doing it again next year. So just want to say very good job to everybody who put that together. I know that took a lot of people to put that together, and you do a good job, and you do a good job every year. So nice work. And then on a side note for North Buxton as well, North Buxton, for anybody who went out there, got a new basketball court. So we improved their old one, made it a bit bigger, and did a sport court tile with it to play multiple sports on it. And there's a couple pickleball courts painted on there as well. So that took, again, the whole community came together. So the Buxton so all the sponsors of the court, the Buxton National Historic Site and Museum, Buxton's Next Generation, Griffin Hanser, Mocha Concrete, North Raleigh Fire Department, North Buxton Community Club, and then 3 councillors, myself, Anthony, and Trevor, used some of our Hydro One money and helped them out that way. So it's an awesome court. You got to get out there and see it. Potentially the best one we have in Chatham-Kent right now, especially outdoor. So hopefully it gets lots of use in the years to come. Thank you.
That's a great example of how communities come together. So many people make something great happen. Just a couple quick things I'd like to add. I did today. I attended the fire department here at the Civic Center. We had a moment of silence for 9/11, the anniversary. There was EMS, police, and fire there. It was a very solemn occasion with the number of people that passed, the number of firefighters and police officers that passed at that moment or that day. Also, just as we look around, we see some different artwork in here, and I just wanted to pay tribute to Tina Namish is a multi-talented local artist and a self-journey discovering all aspects of creativity. So you can see a number of things up here. Tina's work is immersed in vibrancy, freedom, and color. The abstract nature of her technique invites her to examine the intricacy of process and healing. Thank you, Tina. And this is just a part of the series of celebrating local artists. We have so many amazing people here in Chatham-Kent. It's a great way to celebrate. With that, we'll go on to first and second reading of the bylaws. Councillor Pinsonneau and Councillor Thompson. I guess you move those.
So moved, your worship.
And seconded.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. Third and final reading, Councillor B. McGregor and Councillor Bondi. Can I get you move that, please?
So moved.
And seconded, thank you.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. The conclusion of council, Councillor Crew, and given that Councillor Finn's birthday is next month, she was nominated to end the meeting tonight.
I move that Chatham-Kent Council adjourn to its next meeting to be held on Monday, September 18th, 2023, and that Chatham-Kent Council authorize itself to meet in closed session on that day to discuss any matters permitted by the Municipal Act. I so move.
And I'm always happy to second that one.
Anyone opposed to wrapping it up at 7:20? I see no objection. Have a great night, everyone.